Hello, everybody, and welcome. There is Ed. He will be with us in just a second. I appreciate you all showing up. I know that Chris is still going, at least on my screen he is, but I've got like three different time sync ups depending upon which device I'm watching on. All right, Ed, I'll add you back in here. Hey, how are you, buddy? Just let me drag my top chat over here so we can acknowledge everybody. And
I've got to find the room.
It was the cutest thing. Before we started, your cat was sticking its nose up to your camera and pawing at the camera, and I was maybe encouraging it, going, "Hey, kitty, kitty, hi, kitty, kitty." So that was a blast. But before I get too far behind, I want to say thank you and welcome Big J's Fish Keeper, Chevy Fish, Fish Tropic is with us. Alien World Aquatic says, "I've got a fever, and the only prescription is more." Absolutely. The answer is always get more tanks. Brad Fowler joining us. Hello and welcome to you. Get scrolling down here. Mr. B's Fishing Things. As always, Mr. B's shared out on FishTubers notifications. Much appreciated, my friend. Caleb's Aquatics, 54 Punchy, The Zen Ginger, Danikin Aquatics, Pet Zotics is also with us. Scroll down some more here. Oh, and jump. There we go. Sandy Dowdy. Sherry, I'm going to say Kramer. If that's wrong, I apologize. Scott Backer. And, of course, Chattanooga Ed is here with me. And Jessica Taylor, Barbara Jackson, Priscilla MK Art. Hello to you. Yes, you're here. We can start now. I think that's your trademark line. Anna's Hobbies, Ann Thornton, Sicklets 23, or as Pam would say, Chicklets 23. Maria Portillo. Is it Portillo or Portillo? Not sure. Either way, I appreciate you being here, and my apologies for butchering your name. Redfish Bluefish has joined us as well. And let's see, Chevy Fish, Cody Son. I'm almost to the bottom, I think. Wow, you all, I appreciate everybody showing up. This is fantastic. And Precious Tranquility, acknowledgement to Miss Fever as well for being in the chat. I think I am all caught up. Ed, I'm glad to have you back. I did thoroughly enjoy having Big J's on last week, but and there's Shelby Ray showing up. Hello, and Chris from Multi-Tank Addiction. But I'm glad to have you back, buddy. I hope you had a good time up there in St. Louis. I know you were telling me a little bit about the how the hobby's going in that area. I don't know if you want to share with the group kind of what you had going on this past week.
I had a great time, but I want to start off. Look, I got a stink bug.
Oh, lovely.
Right,
I hate those little boogers.
Oh, my gosh. Only in Tennessee is there insects year-round.
Yes.
Well, I'm sure not in the South, I should say.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I had a great time in St. Louis. It was a bummer because they had a blizzard on Monday and Tuesday, and so all my relatives and friends pretty much got stuck working Saturday. So, a lot less time I got to spend with loved ones and friends, but still had a lot of fun, and it was a good time. I checked the phone page. I was setting up a fish tank for someone.
Oh, wow.
And so I was checking out the different. Sorry, the cat just jumped up after the stink bug.
You're all right.
So I checked out the local fish stores, and there's about a half dozen new ones in St. Louis since I've moved away.
Very nice.
And that was super awesome. Unfortunately, nobody wanted to drive into the city with me to check them out.
Oh,
so this summer I'll have to go up there and just venture out. But, it's just kind of crazy during the holiday season and everything.
Oh, yeah.
But I did go to one of my local pet stores shut down about 5 years ago, reopened. So that was pretty cool.
Well, that is awesome. I'm sorry you didn't get to do as much adventuring as you would have liked to, but it sounds like you've got a plan to get back. We had some other people join us. Jessica Taylor, Rescue Dog Treats. I'm reading too many things at once. FNS Fish Room is here. Hello to you as well. And I think that's everybody. Let me scroll through here. Recon 338. Don't think you're going to miss out on the thanks tonight. Thank you for giving us a place to hang out and everything you do for the community. It is appreciated. Well, I just want to say thank you all because without you all, it wouldn't be possible. So anything that I am able to facilitate in terms of helping the community is solely because of you. So I appreciate each and every one of you, which is why I make it a point every single day to respond to every single comment I get on my videos, so that you all know I do care and appreciate you all. Precious wants to know, do they actually stink you? I've been told that. I've never seen it in practice. I think they're pretty cute.
I don't think they actually do. I think they're a lot like ladybugs, and they eat a lot of vegetarian or vegetables and stuff, and it stinks inside when you crunch them. They smell terrible, and birds and animals don't want to eat them because of that.
Yeah,
I love to play with them.
I've had issues with like swatting them off and then getting the smell on my hand, but I don't know if that's in point simply from touching them or if it's something they've omitted given the fact that they felt threatened, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, when I pick them up, it's real slow, so I probably don't ever.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, absolutely. I think if you do it nice and slow and don't startle them, you're less likely to get it. But I've had a couple times I've gotten it like on my hands, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So let me see. If you see anything in the chat, go ahead and holler it out. But I know that you don't have your glasses on, so sometimes it can be fun for you.
Yeah, I do have. I remembered them, so.
There we go. Princess Sophia, hello. Appreciate you swinging by. Oh, yeah. Ed, I actually hadn't gotten a chance to really talk to you. So we actually, on a live stream, I sat with the viewers and designed some merch live with the viewers. And one of the things that came out of it was a hoodie that says, "Ask me about my fish" on the back. I thought you'd get a kick out of that.
That's awesome.
The Shelby Ray is going to put us on mute while she goes night night. I appreciate that. The support is always appreciated. I hope you have a wonderful night.
Night night. I appreciate that.
Let's see. And hello, Chewy LTD. Welcome to the show. And also Not Nola Jane Fishrich.
Yep, and happy Boxing Day to all of our Canadian and English friends.
Yes, absolutely. We get a lovely worldwide mix, and I absolutely love that because there are so many things in the hobby that maybe are done differently in other countries, and it's nice to see different setups from around the world and get some information. See, Caleb's all right. Make sure. I saw some mention of stickers. For those of you that requested stickers this week, I'm going to make sure those go out tomorrow. So if anybody does want stickers to be sent out tomorrow, shoot me an email, fishroomfever@gmail.com, and I will mail you stickers free of charge, just to say thank you for showing your support.
And thank you, Chris, for saying you missed me last week. I missed all of you guys. It was a lot of fun. I did get to be on the beginning of that one where we were filling in for Pam, and right as I was actually leaving to St. Louis like at 3 in the morning. So my plan was to watch Pam and drive out.
Right.
And right before I went to turn off the screen, everybody had taken off all their clothes. Well, Chris was one of them too. I don't know what was going on. I think I left at the right time.
Yeah. Hashtag shirtless squad. I don't know how that came to be, but it just sort of happened. There were definitely some interesting things that went on this past week with the holiday season and people having some different availability to be online that are typically tied down to jobs a lot. One thing I did want to touch base on before I get too far down the road, since it is a 2-hour show, as it was brought up in KG Tropicals. Yeah, it was brought up in KG regarding the art, and then Rack brought it up. Somebody asked about his picture, and then of course Chris being the artist. For those of you that are interested or curious, this is the Project Piaba print that everyone had been talking about. So unless anything has changed, if you purchase one of these, they're $10 on the site. Half of the proceeds are donated to Project Piaba, which, for those of you that don't know, in the United States is a 501c nonprofit organization that helps with husbandry and buying a fish and saving a tree.
Just Chris sign all those?
What's that?
Is Chris going to sign those, or
I don't know, Chris. That is a good question. I wasn't sure if he just kind of signed those for me since I'm his buddy, or if he signs all of them that go out.
Well, I'm going to have to order one tomorrow, and hopefully he signs it.
Yeah, he is in the chat, so I'm sure we'll get an answer here in a second once they catch up to the live feed. One of the things that I thought was so great about that being brought up, besides the fact that I have that and I love it, and that was actually a gift from my buddy Chris, and I appreciate that. He still refuses to let me pay him for it, is that tomorrow I am going to pick up my Aqueon official Project Piaba tank. And I will be starting a series on that, basically to give everybody an idea of the process from how to get it to your local fish store. Multi-tank addiction, Chris says, I sign all prints. So there you go. That answers that question. But I am going to do a short series on that, starting with getting it from your LFS, setting it up, what comes in it, which Rack did a phenomenal job on his video about the tank, which I'm sure Zen Ginger will drop a link for because she's an amazing moderator. But he had to take, well, didn't have to, but he took his back for a giveaway at his local fish store. As far as I know, nobody's actually documented the whole process in terms of setting it up, getting it cycled, taking your water sample to the store, getting your fish, doing the mail-in rebate. So I want to go start to finish on that and kind of give everybody a path to follow, if you will, and know what to expect if you do choose to get one of those wonderful aquarium setups. I saw something about signing underwear. I don't know who's wanting a signature, but we could figure something out on eBay probably. And
thank you, Pam. I like my cup too.
Yes.
That's a Comic-Con cup from 2 years ago.
Our good friend Bob, Kaler's Aquatic, says at Fish Room Fever, James, Ed must be your type. Ed, did you see Big J's? Yeah.
I did not. I forgot my laptop. I had it all set up, and then I just didn't grab it on the way out the door, and so I didn't bring it. But he says that he was bald, over 6 foot tall, big man with a beard. Was it red?
It was not red, but no.
All right. Well,
apparently, apparently I've got a thing for having big bearded guys on the show with me. So I don't know. But no, that was fun, and I'm glad that he came on. I appreciate him doing that with me. Before I get to any other things, did you have anything you wanted to bring up? Anything that
Oh, I think Pam is talking. I sent a little some retarded stuff with Bob to Pam, and so she was thanking me for that. I hope to see the mug in your next show. I hope it wasn't in your big giant stream I missed.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure she can feature it in the next stream. Yes, Scott, his beard is bigger than mine, or bigger than me. Okay.
I was hoping she'd get a nice laugh out of that.
Yeah, I think that's pretty awesome. So there are a couple things from the chat I'm not going to read out loud, but that's great. Wow, that completely blew my train of thought when I read that. Phenomenal. So yeah, it's been an interesting week. You've got a lot of catching up to do when you get a chance, Ed. But
I do.
Again, congratulations to Pam54 Punchy for hitting her 1,000 mark. Our good friend Bob at Kaler's Aquatics hit his 1,000 mark. Mike at the Fish Tank Barn, of course, hit his 1,000, and then Aquamate hit 1,000 as well. So I'm very proud of those individuals. Congratulations to them. And I think that's awesome. And we've got some more people that we are going to get there as a community. Let me see. Hashtag Big Beard. Yeah, I could definitely rock that. We've been doing Beard Nation. That has been our kind of thing that's been going around the Fish Fam bearded community. And yes, there is Chattanooga Ed's link right there. Anybody that is not connected to Chattanooga Ed, I encourage you to go check him out. As you all can already tell already, Ed is an awesome guy. He's just got a great personality, and I love to just chit chat with him. And he fortunately is the type of individual that lets me talk and talk and talk, and just kind of is there to support and listen to my crazy ideas. So go check him out. I know he's got some good things in store.
Yeah, I've been kind of holding everything back because I've been working on building a fish room. It's been over a year now, but it's finally about to happen. I wanted to kind of release everything, as a steady stream instead of like just one or two things a month to kind of make it a little easier to watch. I don't know.
Let me see if I can. I am probably going to miss some stuff. I'm switching back over to the StreamYard chat just so I will be able to highlight comments. But bearing in mind that usually I end up missing a few things, StreamYards doesn't pop up for me. What said we've got a mod wall going. Yes, we do. That was one of those things. When I first started trying to stream, I had like 4 failed live streams. And so all the people that showed up to support me when that finally worked, that had been trying to support me through the non-working streams, my first live stream was just throwing wrenches at everybody. It was almost like, what was that movie, Dodgeball? If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. There were just wrenches flying everywhere that day. But I think we've got some good people in here. I do want to give a special shout out, though, to the Zen Ginger, who is trying to be hot on Candy's heels. She's been an amazing moderator and a good friend. I talk to her a lot also outside of the chat and kind of bounce ideas off of her and things. So I appreciate you, Zen, very, very much for what you do.
Yep, Zen is awesome. And I know that we talked about, well, I don't know if we really talked, but James and I would love to take you out for dinner for Aquashella, but then James just told me that Aquashella's date's been changed. So
yeah, last I was aware, they settled with May instead of March. And Corey had also said that on his Christmas stream, he pointed that date out, which I had seen before, but I knew they were also doing some screwy stuff with the site and even had like an apology thing saying, if you get multiple emails about the event, disregard it, please. But I guess they're sticking with that time frame. So I'm thinking it may be the time to, I know Rack and quite a few of us had already discussed a small YouTuber meetup, but it might be the time to try and make, something cool happen around this part of the country, see what we can do with that. I don't want, how do I phrase it? It's not my place to address that, Recon. I will say I was totally shocked as well, but it is not my place to address it. Given the situation. So I agree with you. If people are going to support who they're going to support, but given that I was not a part of that situation, I will leave it at that. HC Aqua Jesse has joined us. Hello and welcome. I appreciate you coming by. Let's see. Oh. Okay.
Hey, I would love to go out with you on Saturday. I just have to find out if I still am going to have relatives in town or not. Because we all get together and like play lots of games and stuff. And maybe we'll just finish up tomorrow.
There we go.
And there's the cat.
I love that cat. That cat is awesome. I mean, that is going to be the Reno of our stream, always hanging out in the background. Brad Fowler says, I have a beard. Lots of hellos. I see somebody saying hello to Recon 338. If I missed you before, my apologies. You might be hiding since I accidentally timed you out in the last stream or the stream before that. Again, I'm sorry about that. Miss Fever's asking Chris about a cichlid print. Some more hellos. Let's see. Yeah, I've expressed my feelings on that matter in a previous stream. I'm going to try and keep this a little less vocal about it because it's really not my place to interject my nose into that debate. But I will say I was definitely curious as to what was going on during Rack's stream. Let's see, a lot more hellos. Lots more about that topic. We could discuss that on another stream. I'm just going to keep that off the Nocturnal feeding stream. Um, we'll do that on one of the more open mic type of streams. Miss Fever's still discussing the cichlids, and I'm going to get to the bottom eventually. Zen says, stop saying that. I'll never be as cool as Candy. You're going to anger the gods. Well, I'm sorry, but you do an amazing job, Zen Ginger, and I want to show you that I appreciate that. Priscilla MK Art says, I think May the 16th. That sounds about right to me. If I remember correctly, I've heard that a couple times, which I'm kind of sad because I was really looking forward to like taking some vacation time in March versus having to wait, 5-6 months into the year to do vacation time. But, we will see. There is.
Yeah, that messes up for me because I was supposed to be having my nephew's first, well, but my nephew's having his first baby in February. So I thought March would be perfect to come visit. So I don't know what we're going to do. Maybe I'll just make 2 trips to Texas.
Oh, no, say it isn't so. Sorry, I'm scrolling back up, but real quick while I'm scrolling, Don G, I'm sorry that I missed you, brother. You have been a big supporter of mine from the beginning and a good friend. I talk to Don a lot outside of YouTube as well. I am sorry I missed you. Select Pet is here with us. Nature's Whim has also joined us. I keep hitting the wrong little area here. If you see okay, there we go. I'm back where I was previously. All right, so Chris did drop the Aquashella link. Lots of begging to differ here. Fish Tropic has dropped Chewy's link. I'm assuming that is our Chewy LTD, our friend. For those of you that have not checked out what Chewy does a whole lot of awesome production work with music and video and incorporating the fish fam into that. So very, very cool stuff. And Chewy puts out a lot of videos. So I try and check out his content, every time it pops up. And he often does premieres, which is cool because you get to hang out and talk to everybody while you're watching. Jessica Taylor says, LOL, May will be warmer when standing outside for an hour plus to get in the doors. Hopefully they'll fix that too. Yes, absolutely. Meetup, just let you know. Absolutely. I will do that, Griffin. I think so far there are about a dozen people interested in doing the East Tennessee meetup, which is great. Because I know we're going to do like kind of an informal YouTube get-together thing versus like a fish club specific meetup. But I was also talking to someone that's heading up a startup local fish club. And that is coming soon and in the works for those of you that are near the East Tennessee area and interested in that. So as I am permitted to give out more details, I will give those out. Let's see, Merry Christmas from Nature's Whim. Ed, if you see anything, you've got your glasses on and you're probably more caught up than I am.
Well, Bob just said that he thinks that he had to work on Saturday probably also. But Sean Peck also wants to meet up sometime, Bob. So he really wants to play some games with me, for one thing. But he also has some stuff to give me, so that's kind of cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, because he is kind of like the big guy in the area, if you will. I know he's not really seen a lot around the fish fam, but he's got so much going on. It's kind of crazy. I don't personally know him, but just from talking to you and other people that speak to him.
Super nice guy, just super busy. He does a lot of stuff. He's not just Chris. But he's he's really big into the gaming community. And works a lot, and his daughter's in college, so he's going to see all of her band stuff, and so he's just really goes all over the place. I need to check out the game shops there in Knoxville sometime too. I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, I've not really. That's not really my scene, but I've seen some really cool stuff the few times that I've been in them. And see, I'm pretty sure the cat's name has changed a couple times from Reno to Raina and back and forth. And I know it got snipped and they were joking about going back to Raina. But then like earlier. So, yeah. There's where that comment was. Don Jean, my apologies. I'm really sorry about that.
My cat's name used to be Q-Tip because he used to play with Q-tips all the time when he was a kitten, but he never responded to it. But I realized whenever I say cat, he would respond. So I started using cat in other languages, and it's really bizarre because he'd responded to just about all of them.
Oh,
so
wow.
I don't know, like language, creates words that appeal to the animal, that they can kind of understand. But I went with Nico, it's Japanese for cat.
Very awesome. Very awesome. Priscilla, I agree 100%. A lot of drama comes from misunderstandings. You're absolutely right. Hello, Jigs Silva. Welcome to the chat. I appreciate you coming by. Yes, Pam, congratulations to you. I thought that was absolutely awesome. That's, Peck Tech got mentioned. You got mentioned. The lovely Priscilla, who's here, got mentioned. Chris got brought up. There's somebody I'm forgetting. Oh goodness, I'm forgetting somebody else that's kind of in our little circle here. My apologies, but a lot of really good names. Oh, Susie Q, that's who it is. Hey everybody, it's Susie Q. I thought that was really, really cool, and that kind of gave me the warm and fuzzies. Given how much I talk to you all and knowing how much you all deserve that. So congratulations on that. Let me see. I'm going to assume you're talking about the last 30 minutes of the KG stream. Pam, amongst other people, 54 Punchy, got well, they didn't really number it, but she got brought up as one of their top 10 favorite YouTubers.
Oh, that's awesome, Pam. I missed that. I made burritos, and I had some cookies.
Yeah, Pam, Priscilla, and Susie Q were three of the people that Lisa brought up, as well as MTA's art, Multi-Tank Addiction, Chris. That was pretty cool. Oh, yeah, Rack. Of course, Rack. Sorry. Yeah, Rack was the very first one to be brought up. Forgive me. It's been a long day. I ended up going to work twice today, and that kind of threw everything off. I sat down and was going to write out kind of a layout for the stream, and that never happened. I've still got some things I want to talk about, but there's a lot going on in the chat, so I didn't want to jump off of that. Yeah, and Select Pet, hello. If I missed you before on the way up, I saw you when I was trying to get back to where I needed to be at.
Hey, yes, Scotty G.
Where's Lisa?
Scotty G just joined us.
Hey, Scotty G, welcome, welcome. Always glad to have you, my friend. Okay, so got a lot of things that have kind of like been bouncing around in my head for the stream tonight. One of which Ed and I have talked about doing a more structured stream, which, as John and several other people have said, can be challenging for a 1 hour stream. For a 2 hour stream, you almost have to be bonkers to try and do anything like that. That being said, we want to get it more structured, and assuming it's all right with Ed, which I'm sure it is, given that Ed's an awesome guy, I was kind of wanting to get some input on things that you all, as the viewers, would like to see, different segments or ideas, things that you would be interested in, that you would like to partake in or have us talk about. So if you've got any thoughts or ideas, something that you think would be great during our weekly 2 hour live stream, toss it up in the chat there. Or if you think of it after the fact, leave it in the comments below once this gets re-uploaded, because we want you all to get some sort of value out of watching us, at either educational, entertaining, or hopefully a little bit of both. Alien World Aquatics is going to bed, it looks like. I think I missed that somewhere, but good night, Alien World. Appreciate you being in here. For those of you that have not checked out Alien World, always has a really fun stream, so I would encourage you to do that. Hey, there's Alien World. Great.
Ginger Graves is here.
What's that?
She's our Ginger Graves is here.
Oh,
she's
hello.
in Nashville.
Yes. Hello, Ginger Graves. Yeah, she's popped in a couple times this past week while you were gone. I thought that was awesome that we got her hooked on the fish room fever part of the family. Ginger,
Oh,
hello. I hope you're doing well. See something about crayfish, white clouds. What did I miss?
I would love to try to start breeding white clouds. I'm planning on I'll have my fish room built this year, and then I'm going to put a greenhouse in the backyard, and I'd like to try doing white clouds in there.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That would definitely be cool. So some of the things that I keep forgetting that you were gone. I'm used to talking to you all the time and texting you a lot, so I forget that I haven't been doing that. But I had the seam blowout on the 55-gallon saltwater tank the day after I bought a lionfish for it.
Oh,
And the reason I mentioned that is because I wanted to let everybody know I started to pick up where I left off in filming that today, and then had to turn around and go back to work. So I'm not going to make any promises on when that video will be out. My plan is to shoot it tomorrow, along with the Project Piaba tank pickup, and get it out to you. But I don't want to promise anything because, like, 3 days in a row, something bad has happened when trying to do my saltwater video.
My cat's walking around. Oh no, he's taking a bath.
I love that cat. But yeah,
hopefully he doesn't fall through.
Yeah, that was actually why I had pulled your camera off the screen, was because right before and as I was starting the stream, the cat was right there on your computer poking its nose at the camera, and I was, of course, talking to it.
My other one's been sitting in my lap the whole time.
Oh, very pretty. Such a baby beauty. Griffin Fishroom says at Chattanooga Ed, I will trade you white cloud minnows for guppies. There you go.
Yeah, I gave him a thumbs up while you were talking.
Gotcha. I kind of thought that might have been what you were talking about. Let's see. He would say a prohibited species. Yeah. That's one of those things that it just, I don't know. It kind of frustrates me in terms of what's legal where and what's not. Just like crayfish, piranhas. It's crazy. And I understand, invasive species and issues like that. But some of the places, there's absolutely no reason that things should be on a ban list. Yeah, it's Chattanooga. Chattanooga Ed white clouds are a Cares fish too. Not that they ever really do anything in terms of updating the care site. It just kind of hangs around. But there are definitely some species on there that could use our help and attention.
Chewy, I've actually got some fish that I plan on doing outdoors also, or some guppies. Well, you commented on those ones. Chewy's like amazing how he knows things. But I have some like purple tuxedos that have a yellow head that glows, and he knew that they were like first bred in France, and he's just an amazing wealth of knowledge. Awesome. But yeah, I do plan on having guppies outdoors also. It's just I know that
Sorry about that.
The fish did go through. Hang on, I'm gonna switch cameras so I can make sure that I don't have my biters not being electrocuted.
Gotcha, absolutely. So yes, and there is Chewy giving some information. Oh, I'm hearing myself through Ed's again now. Let's see if that fixes it. The best bet on fish from Madagascar would be through a CARES representative at Anna's Hobby. Not even going to pretend. Dr. Louis L. possibly has done a film that he represents during his talks, or that he presents, excuse me. Sorry, I'm kind of leaning and reading at an odd angle. And absolutely, sorry, I've got a lot of emails popping up for stickers. We will definitely get those out to you all. I appreciate that. Need to fix that to where it doesn't pop up right right over my chat when I'm live and I get the emails. But thank you very much. I appreciate that support, and I'm glad that there's interest in it. For those of you that haven't seen it, these are the stickers that I'm sending out. Of course, it never focuses because it's a manual focus. But I mean, it's a decent little sticker, so I appreciate that, and we will get those out to you tomorrow. Thank you to Miss Fever, because she is the one that spearheads that part of the operation and gets that addressed and done with her handwriting that is much, much prettier than my own. Yes, that is a good idea. Precious Tranquility says, I would like to see someone specifically handling the chat, reading the questions and keeping track of those so stuff doesn't get missed. Moderators on air, or moderator on air for support. Yes, that is one of the biggest issues with live streaming, even when it's a small stream, like what we've got, which currently, let me look, we've got 40 watching now. Hopefully that volume doesn't kick on. Yeah, so even with just 40 people in here, and when I say just, I don't mean that as a slight to anybody, but I'm saying that in terms of like looking where, you know, you get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people on the bigger streams. Even just 40 people, by the time, you know, Ed or myself addresses one question, it may take a minute, 2 minutes. And so it can be kind of hard to keep up. So we definitely want to try and find a better way to do that. One thing that we could definitely do is if you have something specifically that you want answered by either one of us, if you'll put either at Fish Room Fever or at Chattanooga Ed, that will highlight it for us. And then that's one that we always catch. Not that we're anywhere as big as Dan's Fish, but that's one thing he does that's phenomenal. It's like, hey, if you got something specifically for me, you know, type at Dan's Fish, and that will help highlight it for us. Is everything good on your end, Ed?
Yeah, the stupid stink bug was up there, and he was trying to get it off the ceiling, I think. Kind of jumped and kicked the whole thing, but yeah, everything's fine.
Okay, a couple things there. Scott has nominated Precious to handle the chat moderation there. And see, yeah, let me switch back to live chat. For some reason, I thought it would highlight for me in there, and I know better. It does not. Petzotics, no, I need to get another coffee mug done. I was wanting to go back and bring up my logo in paint and actually get a background behind it, because when I throw it on the coffee mug, you just get a plain white mug with the logo, which is fine for some people. But if you look at things like Alien World Aquatics has got a coffee mug, and he's got different solid colors behind it. So I wanted to give that option, but I will absolutely be doing that. For those of you that are wondering, why is this guy pushing his merch? I did the merch at a request, and I literally made it as low as I could. Like I've sold a couple items, and I make like 50 cents, 46 cents. That's right. It's 46 cents. Fish Tropic did the hashtag 46 cents. And we have free shipping. So I made it as cheap as it could possibly be for the people that wanted those items. And we are also doing specialty items. If you have something specific, I will get on there and design something specially for you. So I didn't want you all to think that I was just trying to make a bunch of money. It was something that I'm really not making anything off of, but I wanted to make available.
I do not have stickers. I want to make some so I can send some direct, so maybe I can get some other people's like cool stickers. But yeah, I've got I was going to use just my symbol that you guys see, the big C with the blue Moscow with my name, but I wanted to put Chattanooga Ed in yellow around the sides, and I could not figure out how to do that. So I'll have to try it again. Like when I went to college, I took a class in Corel Draw 1 or 2.0, and that's years ago. And if I had that program today, I could do it.
Right?
They make things harder.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I've got to try to get that done, and then maybe James can put my sticker up next to his fish rooms thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We could definitely incorporate that. And that's something that, if you get stickers, assuming it's okay with you, anytime somebody requested one of mine, I throw yours in there as well and just ship them on out together.
That'd be awesome.
I'm not big enough to the point to where I'm going to go bankrupt shipping out stickers, even to ship them worldwide, which, for the record, if you want them, we're sending them all across the globe. It's only $1, and Miss Fever will correct me, 46 cents, $1.40 to ship them anywhere on the planet. So don't mind to do that at all.
I'm a big dork, so I love things like that.
And hello, see, I'm trying to highlight my actual live chat now, and it's not going to work out. But hello, Crystals, Pets, and Plants. I appreciate you coming by. Always a pleasure to see you. Let me see, get back through here. D from Down the Wormhole. Hello and welcome. Good night. I hope you have a wonderful night. I think I saw you earlier. Either way, I hope you have a great night, and I appreciate your support as well. Again, I'm trying to highlight comments from the live chat. It's not going to work.
That's awesome, Griff. For sure, I'd get you one.
And then Chewy. Chewy is asking for help in finding videos or footage for his presentations regarding prohibited fish. So if any of you have like a prohibited fish or something that he wouldn't be able to get footage on, given that he's in Canada, I would encourage you to reach out, because Chewy does some really great stuff, and it's just a shame when you're trying to do a project to support something and you can't even get footage on it. Don G is going to bed. Don Gallagher, I appreciate you swinging by. I hope you have a great night. Sleep well, my friend.
Night, Don. Oh, man, I want to get some Bob stickers, too.
Yes, yeah.
Gosh, I even see Bob. Bob's an awesome, awesome guy.
Oh, yeah.
What I'd like to do is, once I get my fish room, is I'd like to put people's stickers like next to fish that I've gotten from in there, from that tank. So I'll probably put the stickers on some type of a magnet and rotate it, because all my shelving is going to be Husky shelving. So I'm just going to put the sticker on the magnet. That's what I used to do with my photo shop.
Okay.
Was I had my card on sticker or on magnets, and I'd hand them out to people. And so I'll probably do that with these stickers. And that way, someday when I get some rice fish from Pam, I'll use a sticker and put it underneath so I know I got them from her. That'd be cool.
That would be very cool.
And if I ever get a bristle nose from you, I'll do the same,
I've got one or two.
That's awesome.
I think I've got 400 or 500 babies right now. So whenever the time comes that you're ready, you just let me know. Jessica Taylor, good night. Thank you for joining us tonight. Sweet dreams to you. Scrolling here, trying not to go past anything. Big Jays has joined us. Hello, Big Jays. Anna Mora is in the house. Hello, Anna. Always a pleasure to see you, my friend. Looks like there's some sticker swapping talk going on with Jesse. Yeah, the only stickers I have at this point are Rack the River Life, Chris from Multi-Tank Addiction, of course, my own sticker. And then I do have my Aquarium Co-op sticker, which apparently doesn't want to stay on there from that order. And then I do have the Crystals, Pets, and Plants flower right there. So I need to get my sticker collection up. And that was one of the things I was hoping to be able to meet up with Bob and his adventure to Knoxville this weekend. Of course, because I want to hang out with Bob, but also to snag a sticker from him, because I love his logo.
It's awesome.
Let's see.
Now, Bob just said that we should assign somebody to remind people who don't highlight to do so, like Skip does for Dan.
Yeah.
And he said, Bob, I am so untech savvy, and I'm just here to agree and have fun. So,
Bob, I can completely agree with that. I hate to dedicate someone to work. If somebody volunteered to do that, I would say absolutely, and it's very much appreciated. But I don't want to call anybody out and say, hey, this person with a wrench, I want you to do this. That was never my intention when I made the moderators. That was more a sign of respect and support for the people that showed up from the beginning to support me. But yeah, that it's a wonderful idea. I just don't want to. I don't feel it's my place to tell anybody what they should be doing in my stream, so to speak.
FMS Fish Room is in Canada, and I'll split the mailing costs with you, James. That's no problem.
Dude, it's fine. I don't care. Like I said, it's $1. It's less than $1.50 for me to mail stickers anywhere in the world. We've mailed a bunch to Australia, and we've mailed some up to Canada. And I think we've even mailed a few over to England, if I'm not mistaken. So, and then I'll
have Canadian friends, because they can mail you these awesome taffy peanut bars. I don't know. It's like some type of candy bar they eat, but it's amazing. I haven't had one of those in years. I hope you guys still make them.
And then, okay, so there's a highlighted one. Chewy LTD says, hey, at Fish Room Fever, did you know that they cannot keep great white sharks in public aquariums? It drives them batty. Yes, I did know that. No one has been able to successfully keep a great white shark, which is funny considering that we have aquariums that, do keep whale sharks. Not that I'm saying that I agree with that. But yeah,
well,
go ahead.
The Georgia Aquarium kept one for about 6 months. And they said they were going to keep it till it got to 7 foot long, and they thought it'd be a lot longer, but they were amazed on how fast it grew. And they maybe could have had it go bigger, but they didn't want to threaten its life, so that's why they released it. There's an aquarium in California. I don't know if it's the Monterey Aquarium. They've had a few. But it's very short term. They just keep juveniles, and then they let them go also. Just nobody's had a giant one.
Yeah. And just to address that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. I was just going to let Bob know. If it's not tomorrow, I will not be available. I actually work 11 a.m. to close on Saturday. So by all means, don't try and plan around me, because I will not be available this weekend.
If anybody likes reading books, The Meg, and now I know there was a movie about The Meg, but the book line is amazing. I absolutely love it. I think it's Stephen Atkins. No, not Stephen Atkins. Gosh. Oh, these are readers. I was trying to see if I could read across the room. But I'll have it next week. The name of the guy. He is awesome. I love all his books. I love any type of book that deals with sea monsters or from the ocean, or mysteries from the ocean. So if anybody ever has any, feel free to drop a line, because I love reading all that stuff.
Yeah, Barefoot Adventures joined us. Hello, my friend. Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you coming by. Recon 338 says the movie Meg was trash compared to the books. Steve Alton, excuse me.
Steve Alton, yeah, that was. I'm trying to remember his name.
Sorry, Ed, go.
Oh, I just said thank you to him.
The Jewel of the Sea, Monterey Bay Aquarium. I did actually get to visit there one time when I was about 10 years old. We flew out to see my father's family shortly after he had passed. And that was one of the places we went. I don't really remember much of it, but I do remember it was a really good time. I wish I could really, kind of remember the exhibits and stuff.
That's awesome.
But Cichlids 23 says, until we can build a 20 million gallon aquarium, probably not going to work at Chewy LTD. All right. Oh, there we go. Chewy LTD says, LOL, barracudas are amazing when you can have heart music behind them and promote the Fish Fam newsletter. Just imagine the AHL Barracudas versus the Heat at Cichlids 23. So one of the things that I was kind of thinking about and this was going to be an interactive thing with the chat, was and this also goes kind of hand in hand with everything that's gone on tonight in terms of the community. But some things I was just thinking about earlier was what really got people into the hobby. What have you gotten out of the hobby, and what have you contributed back to the hobby? And that doesn't necessarily have to be specifically fish related. It could be, in terms of the YouTube community related. So that was something I kind of wanted to pose to people was, what really got you in the hobby? I know a lot of us, we had aquariums when we were smaller. Was it breeding fish that you really wanted to try? Was it, you just really fell in love with goldfish? What got us to where we are, I guess, is kind of what makes people tick. I know we all have a passion for it, but I think a lot of us got to the same spot coming from different directions, if you will. So I'm just curious about that. See, make sure I don't let the chat get away from me. Ginger Grave says, Brad, I have a pair of adults in my 20-gallon long, my fryer in a 10-gallon grow out tank. How many do you want to keep? Select Pet says Monterey Bay Aquarium. Was that the one on the Star Trek movie? I honestly don't know. God, that sounds familiar now that you mention it.
I'm a Star Wars guy over Star Trek.
Yeah, I like them both, but I cannot recall at this point. Anna's Hobby says yes, and Finding Dory.
Well, I could tell you how I got the true start to mine. I mean, I know my dad got me interested in the hobby with him raising the guppies and cory cats and selling them to stores. But I just always wanted to live in a submarine, or I love everything underwater.
Right.
Creature from the Black Lagoon. Oh my God, that's like my all-time favorite movie. And I had the little toy that went up and down when I was a little kid, and I had that in my first tank. I know I made my dad trade a bunch of cories for that at one of the stores, but I loved that thing, and I took it out and I broke it in half, and I still wish I had the pieces. I wish I had one. I love that thing. But I had a book that talked about beds for children to go to bedtime, and there was one that was a glass submarine that you could sleep in, and I just always think back to that as a little kid. I wish I could be in a glass submarine and just be underwater.
Absolutely. And I will give my response in a minute, but the chat is getting away from me, and we've got some good answers in here. Chewy LTD says hockey and fish work hand in hand. Fish Tropic says fishing got me into fish keeping, and that's something funny that I'm going to address on an upcoming stream. Is a lot of times I think we forget about the fishing community and how it does actually tie into us. Even though given that there's fish being killed, just to put it plain and blunt, but that community actually ties in with us a lot more than we think about sometimes. And then Cichlids 23 says, I love the colors and amazing personalities of the African cichlids, so I was hooked. Yes, the beautiful colors will definitely get you involved. Codyson says, me too, Tropic. Jesse HC Aqua says, I started out wanting to breed goldfish and still never purposefully done so. Some fry grew up accidentally in the 300-gallon pond, though. Well, at least you still got the end results you were after. See, without jumping too far. Priscilla, you missed everything, but since it's you, we're just going to start over fresh. So everybody just pretend you're coming in. No, I'm just kidding. And then Miss Fever says, for me, it was my 125-gallon saltwater tank with a beautiful yellow tang in it. Yeah, many years ago. I do still miss having all my big salt tanks, but I don't have the time for it anymore, sadly. Sharpie's Models and Aquatics has joined us. Good morning, my fishy model friend. Griffin, oh, there we go. It jumped on me. Let me get back up there. Oh, no. I will get back there. Hold on a second. There we go. Griffin Fishroom says, I grew up with my 55-gallon and 29-gallon tanks. They are still up and running strong. That is fantastic. Recon 338 actually talked about that in the video I did today at Fish Room Fever. A 5-gallon tank that had a bunch of dead fish after a week started me down the rabbit hole. Yes, Recon, I saw your notification, but again, I wound up being at work most of the day. So I've got, I think, 7 Fish Fam videos on saved for watch later. So I will definitely get into that. But if somebody wants to throw a link up for Recon's video, I would appreciate that. Yellow Submarine. Miss Griffin. Hello, hello. I didn't see Miss Griffin come in. My apologies. Select Pet says, my dad told me yesterday that he thought fish keeping was genetic. He said my grandfather that died before I started school had a fish room in the 60s and 70s. That is, and apologies for your grandfather when I say that's awesome. That's not what I'm referencing. I'm saying that, you know, the multi-generational fish keeping, I think that is awesome. I think that's a phenomenal thing, getting the next generation in the hobby. Ed, did you want to grab some since you've got your glasses and people don't really want to hear me talk for 2 hours straight?
Okay, well, let's see. Well, I know that Zen Ginger said somewhere up here about how she doesn't like to fish anymore because it, I think it kind of hurts her feelings that she's like torturing the fish when she catches them. And I've been, you know, I used to fish a lot too when I was younger, and I don't fish nearly as much. I do a lot of catch and release, really, because you know, I actually don't want to take the time to probably just kill them and gut them and do all that. But I say that, and I was thinking about buying a pontoon boat just to go out because I live right on a huge lake here in Tennessee that's they have tournaments here every single weekend. It's probably one of the biggest tournament spots in America. So, you know, but I don't know how much it hurts them or helps them. I think it probably helps that people spend so much money on fishing that they're going to keep everything stocked and filled in our lakes and not let them get polluted. It's kind of like Ducks Unlimited. You know, if it wasn't for the duck hunters, we probably wouldn't have any ducks. So, you know, it's catch 52. Not that she was like apologizing for fishing or anything. She just mentioned that.
Right, right.
Oh, let's see. Chewy wants us to tell Sharpies that he hoped he had a good Boxing Day. And, you know, honestly, I don't know. Chewy was mentioning in one of the other streams earlier about Boxing Day, and I know that they always have it the day after Christmas, and I've always like thought of it as the day that people return stuff, and that's why it was called Boxing Day, and they box up their gifts that they don't want and take them back. But I've always like loved the leftovers. But I don't know the true meaning to Boxing Day and why the English and the Canadians celebrate it and we don't. It's kind of surprising.
Yeah, absolutely. One real quick I wanted to grab here. Oh, of course, it jumped on me. Chewy LTD, up before that, had mentioned the entertainment community also ties into it. If you think about it, look at tanks. Yeah, absolutely. And I know from talking to you that there's a lot of artists and entertainers that are avid aquarists, or at least have aquariums in their home that they pay other people to maintain. And I think that's phenomenal. Maybe we can get some of those people to come hang out on YouTube with us, you know?
Big J's talking about how he spent a lot of his childhood on a shrimp boat catching fish. And that's kind of up your old alley, too. Or at least you have roots in the shrimping business. That's cool.
And then Law What had said up before that, if any more aquatic turtle keepers are in here, I have some vet manuals. I would be willing to email some bits. I know they're expensive to buy. So I appreciate that, Law What.
Griff celebrates Boxing Day because of his birthday today. Happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday. I think I told you in a couple streams, but if not, happy birthday.
Oh, they don't need a fishing license in Hawaii. That's interesting.
That is. I did not know that.
I haven't even gotten one here in Tennessee yet. And now in Missouri, I'd get an out-of-state one, so that would be, I think, a lot more expensive. That's kind of a drag. Never even thought about that. I still have my Missouri license, so
Yeah.
driver's license. Maybe I'd be okay.
But
Now I'm going to probably get, like, conservation agents knocking on my door.
Right. And that's one thing I thought of in terms of like just doing the collecting with the kids is, okay, what type of licensing do I need to have to be able to do this?
That's what I would like to do. I'd like to see what cute little sunfish. Well, this big tank behind me, I thought about doing just like little sunfish and stuff like that are just pretty. But then I ended up getting damn geophagus, and I tell you, I love these little guys, but I can't see them. They're all down low right now. But they're amazing.
So I've got some mosquito fish that I wound up collecting. Took me forever to figure out what they were, and then I finally sat down and just did it. Let's see. I missed the reference. I know somebody's got started because of goldfish, because it was referenced that goldfish at the fair have their place. And then Anna's Hobby says, I was forced to quit work, put on steroids, and gained a bunch of weight. I needed a calming hobby. And go ahead, Ed. My apologies.
Oh, it's Chewy. Oh, wait, it wasn't Chewy. It was Cichlids. California. Oh, okay. I thought it was Chewy saying that the fishing license. But Cichlid said that the California fishing license are $49.50 a year there. So that's interesting. I bought Canadian fishing licenses. I used to go up and fish northern pike. It was amazing.
Yeah, and then I believe I had seen Priscilla mention that she enjoyed bass fishing. And then here's a second comment. I don't eat fish, but love fishing. It's about the experience, spending time at the lake in silence, and then get the adrenaline kick when something bites. Absolutely. I do definitely enjoy fishing. I haven't been in a few years, and I do miss it. But the last time I kind of had the choice of, do I want to go fishing or do I want to try and do some fish collecting? I opted on the collecting part of that. Let's see.
GRB Aquatics is in the house.
Hey,
Mike.
Yeah,
there you go.
And then I just missed who it was because it jumped. But somebody mentioned that little sunfish can turn into big sunfish. Absolutely.
Well, it's a 200-gallon tank, so
yeah.
If they got bigger than that, I could eat them.
FNS Fishroom says, I spent 3 years of my teenage years running a bait shop and boat rental shop on the St. Clair River across from Michigan. Oh, wow. Awesome.
That's awesome.
And Griffin Fishroom, catfishing here. Yes, that is one of my favorite types of fishing, is going out at night and trying to hook up on a big catfish, which is funny because I have baby monsters back here that will get large, and I have, I guess, some sort of empathy for, I would feel bad hooking up to one of these guys, but that was always my favorite kind of fishing, just the sheer power that those big catfish have.
Are you feeding your fish worms?
Yes, feed your fish a worm. I need to get some more worms. My problem is the only place that's anywhere near me to get worms is Walmart, and I basically all but refuse to walk through the doors. Only in very, very, very rare occasions, if it's something that like the kids have to have a medicine from there or something like that. So I don't feed as many worms as I used to.
So what does an avid fisher or lover of fish do on the road? As in, what did I do on the road? I like to do the Google Maps, and I set up my tablet on one side that's telling me how to get home or my destination, and also now it tells you speed traps. I don't know if anybody's noticed that, but that's amazing.
Yeah.
It says speed trap ahead.
Yes.
Stalled car ahead. But it's so cool. But then on my other phone, I have local fish stores near me, and I just keep clicking it as I move down the road.
That's smart.
And then I hit some bizarre shops on the way down or the way back, whichever direction I'm going.
Oh, that's very smart. I hadn't thought of doing it that way. I'm gonna have to try that out. That is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there's some fish stores that you would never know they were out there,
Right.
and you hit them.
I've done that once or twice, like when I've had to go to like work meetings outside of Knoxville. Tried that, and I didn't find anything worth finding the few times I did try it. But it's definitely that's an awesome idea. I'm gonna have to do that more. Select Pet says in quotations, if they get bigger than that, I'll eat them. Tiger shovelnose comes to my mind. Yes, going to definitely be a very large fish. And yes, we will definitely make accommodations for it. Select Pet says Fish Room Fever, you can mail order worms. I'm probably just going to start up a worm farm. I kind of had one going here at the house, and then people started spraying chemicals, so I quit with that. But I'll probably get one started up. And then Petzotic says Petco sells worms. So yeah, I try and keep enough other variety foods on hand that I don't rely on having the worms. And the other problem I have is the kids like to get a hold of the worms and chuck them in the tank because of how cool it is to watch the fish eat them. But I'll have to get some worms specifically to do a stream feeding for you all. Chewy LTD, well, this one's actually addressed to you, Ed, but I'll read it. It says, I went to every zoo, public aquarium, and pet shop I could find, LOL, at Chattanooga Ed.
It's kind of funny. I was literally going to say that as soon as you stopped talking.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I used to do that. There's so many zoos in America that are private that cost a lot, and you don't really get to see that much. You know, the animals just want to be fed. I don't do zoos much anymore, but I've been to pretty much every aquarium on the East Coast and through the Midwest. I've been all over. The Cincinnati Zoo, or the Cincinnati Aquarium, is one that I haven't, but that's because one of the people I was there on a business trip stepped out of the car and broke her wrist. So, yeah, so we never got in. We ended up going to the hospital. But I shouldn't laugh about that, but it's just bizarre. But yeah, I love going to aquariums. But it's hard for me to do zoos after the St. Louis Zoo. It's free, and it's just amazing. You know, I haven't been to a zoo yet better.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I think this past year was the first year we didn't have an annual membership to the Knoxville Zoo. I probably need to do that again because the kids really, really enjoy it. Of course, there's not really, you know, in terms of fish, it's not really a big thing, but it's still fun to check out the zoo. And I need to get down your way. That may be something, since I'm not going to be doing Aquashell in March. Maybe I'll take a couple of days of vacation. That'll give me a chance to come down there and hang out at the aquarium that you have down there. So I really need to check that out.
Yeah, last year at Christmas time when we're all sitting there and we're just all kind of eating it, I said, hey, did you hear that the Chattanooga Zoo got a new animal? And everybody looked up, and I said, yeah, it's the only animal they got, and it's a dog. You can say it's a real Shih Tzu. And my brother-in-law was really thinking about that.
Oh, goodness. Oh, that is great.
The kids thought it was pretty funny. But, oh, well, I was great. My sister's like, you had to tell that at Christmas.
And Priscilla.
Night, Jesse.
Sorry, go ahead.
I just said night, Jesse. He's heading out.
Oh, Jesse, have a great night. I appreciate you hanging out with us. Priscilla MK Art says, oh my God, first time I tried fishing with night crawlers, it took me 20 minutes to hook the worm. Then when I cast the worm, split in half and fell on my head. Never going to do that again. Chevy Fish congratulating Bob at Kaler's Aquatics on your 1,000 subscriber Christmas hit. Yes, Bob, again, congratulations to you, my friend. Couldn't have happened to a nicer person.
That is awesome. I was catching up on a couple of Bob's videos during KG Tropics today, and man, the one that he posted today, he is, I don't know if it's 55 or 75, but he's got like this awesome flow going in that tank. It looks just like it's in a river.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yes. Bob is one of those people that definitely knows what he's doing. Chewy LTD says at Fish Room Fever, you know about the issues of Project Piaba. This is Canada's project. It's Canada's project, as I like to say. Yeah, so what Chewy is referencing there, and I kind of touched on it earlier, and I've mentioned it before. Project Piaba is a 501c nonprofit organization in the United States. They are not a globally recognized nonprofit. So if you're outside of the U.S. and you want to donate, of course, just as with anything else, if you're going to do something and you're in a different country, you should do your research. So just to throw that out there, but I will have to check that out, Chewy. You know, if I get on that site now, I'm going to digress into that for the next 45 minutes. Yeah, John, we're going to let you keep that one mostly to yourself. That sounds like a horrible fishing experience, though. Good night, Miss Fever. Have a good night. Pam is out. Good night, Pam. Sorry, Ed, go ahead.
Night, Pam. My worst experience fishing was when I was 3 years old, and I still remember it like yesterday. My sister had her friends over, and they were like, I was in the basement, and they were on the stairs, and one of them snagged me with a treble hook, and it got in my nose, coming out through my nose. And they like started reeling even. Oh, it was horrible. But I was screaming. And luckily, my next door neighbor was a nurse, and my mom took me over there, and she saved me. And that was not fun. But I still remember that. And I was a little kid.
Okay, some back and forth talk there. Hey, no more lies. Hello, glad to see you. Says, I have to ask if anyone showed you how to put a worm on a hook so that doesn't happen again at Priscilla MK Art. And there is Zen dropping the link for Bob Kaler's channel, Kaler's Aquatics. I appreciate that, Zen Ginger. Yes, lurking is always welcome and appreciated. I do a lot of lurking, especially when I'm at work. So don't ever apologize for lurking. We appreciate you showing support in whatever way that you do it.
No more lies. I love your cat.
Let's see. So I guess I could share how I got into it or what got me into it. Basically, I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida. The first year or so of my life was spent on a shrimp boat before my parents even actually had a home. They lived on the shrimp boat. They then had a marine construction business, amongst other things. And even though I don't remember it, I have like this vague remembrance of seeing these tanks when I was a kid. Apparently my father at one point had like a pet store set up with all these tanks. So it's just something that's kind of always been in my blood, so to speak, as somebody had mentioned earlier. And like you said, I just absolutely love aquatic life. There's nothing that makes me happy like just sitting around and watching fish, freshwater, saltwater. It doesn't have to be specifically fish, just anything aquatic has just always fascinated me. I always dreamed of, going down into the ocean and doing marine biology and all those wonderful things. So that's what got me into it. I've taken a break here and there over the years, but I always come back to it. Then let's see. Sharpies, models, and aquatics. My worst experience was the line snapping with a big fish on the end, close in. Got knocked out by the lead coming flying back like a bullet. Yes, I've had that happen before. Then had to cycle home with all my gear and a concussion. That is a horrible fishing experience.
Yeah, it's Sharpie. So that was probably one of his better experiences. Poor guy.
Oh, man. Yes, Florida is an awesome place. I don't know exactly where we were referencing, but Chewy says Florida is so cool. Great music scene in Florida. One of my favorite bands is from Tampa. Yes, I would love to get back there one day, but I mean, things like realistically, I'm not just gonna. Well, I could dump off my piranha at Ed's house on the way through. I'm sure he wouldn't mind. I'll bring a tank with him. I'll just head down. I do envy people that live, where they could just go out in the ocean and, hey, check out what we got today, type of thing. No More Lies is suggesting that Priscilla watches a video on how to bait a hook with worms and crickets.
Now, you see, I think that crickets are more gross than worms.
And I'm right there with you. I'm really not a bug fan.
I would much rather use a minnow or a worm any day. Oh boy, I shouldn't have said minnow, probably.
Fish Tropic says, shout Dave, Betancourts and DPK Aquariums. I don't think I know Dave. If Dave is in here, hello. DPK, I do definitely know. DPK is the one that did the awesome Fish Room Fever logo. And I say it's awesome because it's DPK's artwork, not because it's my logo, as well as a lot of logos for the Fish Fam. So let me see. Chewy LTD says, that's what I thought about when I saw what is in India at Fish Room Fever. A lot of cool species from puffers to dwarf snakeheads. Yeah, so I'm that is one fish I'd like to keep, is the snakehead or the dwarf snakehead. Really cool fish. I think, again, it was one of those panic and run situations where we're just going to completely nope, this isn't going to happen, ban it all. And that's a shame in my book.
How big do the small snakeheads get? They're probably still a foot, wouldn't it? Dwarfs are probably still huge.
I wanted to say it's like somewhere around 10 inches. I could completely be wrong. I'm pulling that out of my ear at this point. Chewy, I'm sure, will chime in with the correct answer.
I remember when I was a kid, they had snakeheads in fish tanks, and they called them dragon heads and things like that, or dragon fish.
Yeah. And Chewy LTD says 8 inches. So, yeah, so the dwarfs stay pretty small. It'd be almost like having, I'm surprised they're not out, but one of the Bishers.
Yeah, my Bisher will get up to 18 or 13 inches. I love him.
Oh, yeah. Fish Tropic says, are spiders dangerous to feed to fish? I
think if a fish eats it, it's not dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that, fish eat insects in the wild. And that's kind of one of those things I thought was interesting. Father Fish had gotten a lot of negative feedback from his video of his red-tailed cat eating a rat. But if you think about catfish in the wild, I mean, they're scavengers, bottom dwellers. You can't tell me that these catfish in the wild are not chomping on carcasses that are rotting at the bottom, or bits and pieces of all sorts of disgusting things. It would be one thing if he had thrown in, and if he had thrown it in and there was just bloody mess all in the water in terms of water quality. But I didn't really disagree with that as much as a lot of people did. Just because we have to remember there are a lot of things that our fish would eat in the wild that we're just not going to feed them in aquariums. And some people choose to feed those things.
This sounds terrible, but whenever I find a flea on the cats, I throw it in the guppy tank.
Yeah, see, I mean,
a second, those guppies are bam.
Oh, yeah. Somebody did say what you're using for bait is dependent upon what you're trying to catch, or vice versa. But it's the same thing. You're absolutely right. You're going to use different bait for different fish. Priscilla, no, it was not a live rat. I believe it was like one of those frozen feeder rats that you would get because it looked fairly stiff. Not that it was, I'm saying it was still frozen, but it wasn't a live rat. It was definitely a dead rat. And I also don't imagine it was something he had caught in a trap. I'm sure it was actual food like what people would pick up for their snake, except he was feeding it to his red tail.
I've caught fish on ivory soap also, or catfish from a fish pond.
Oh,
We'd
wow.
set up stringers. We just take the end of some pantyhose, and you put a triple hook in there and some chunks of soap and tie it up and put it on the line. And I thought the farmer was nuts, and he caught them overnight. It was crazy.
I would have never thought of that. Now, I've done like the pantyhose trick to keep the chicken liver on there, but I'd never thought to do that.
Yeah, that's how we did it. And I've also caught bullheads with slugs. We used to catch the slugs off the grapevines in Kansas City and go and fish with them.
Hey, Yogi Bear TV, welcome. I appreciate you coming by. What was I going to say? Where did it go? Strawberry Pops and Jello, Live Shad Works. There's Chewy's comment. Chewy says a lot of laws are based on myth instead of facts. You are absolutely right. It's a shame, and it's not just in the fish hobby. I won't digress into other topics that you all know I enjoy talking about. But laws in general are often pushed through based off of emotion and fear responses versus fact and reasoning and logic, which is a shame, unfortunately. Recon 338 says a lot of opinions are too chewy. Yes. So I don't even know if we have time to get into the second part of that 3-part question. I should have opened that up at the beginning. Did you, before I go any further and steal the show anymore, Ed, did you have any other things or questions, stuff you'd like to bring up, things that have popped up in the chat?
I'm just kind of going with the flow. I had very little time to think about anything, guys. When I got home yesterday, I basically had 20 minutes to take care of my cats and feed my fish, and all my tanks are low, and I need to do water changes. And then all day, the following day, just spending with family. And then today, let's see, what did Zen Ginger just ask me? Did you see what? Just say the truth. Wait, what did I miss?
Okay, so I just found it. I was looking for that while you were talking. Law what says worms are transferred from fleas. Ew. I guess in reference to the fleas to the guppies.
Well, how many of them are going to be carrying the right worms and everything? I mean, they're coming off my cat, and I don't want my cat having heartworms. I mean, personally, I'd rather give up a guppy than a fly, or my cat getting heartworms or something. But I mean, everything carries something.
Dear Lord Ed, you have angered the fish community. I'm going to have to kick you off here before I lose any more subscribers. No, I'm just kidding. Anna's hobbies is going to bed, getting sleepy. I hope you have a blessed night, Anna. I appreciate you hanging out. It is always a pleasure talking to you. Select Pet says laws can be based on ignorance too. That's why dogs were illegal in Kentucky for a while. Incomplete scientific name for, it's blocked by my arrow. I think it's a blocked for wolf. Incomplete scientific name for wolf. There we go.
I also don't feed my guppies fleas regularly. I catch like maybe 5 fleas a year. Just wanted to add that.
Yeah, I just looked and now I only have 12 subscribers. Thanks, Ed. No,
yeah, well.
Just kidding. So I do want to say thank you to everybody. I just peeked back over at the YouTube page for the stream. And, okay, now that I'm refreshing it, it doesn't want to refresh. Go figure. But it looks like we've got 39 watching and 40 likes. I appreciate that very, very much. Thank you all for coming out and supporting us. I hope that you are enjoying it. We do still have about 36 minutes left with time delay, probably about 34 when you hear this. So we are going to keep rolling through the chat. But I want to say thank you as people start to drop off and go to bed. I do understand that. But it's late. It's almost 2 a.m. here. So I know people have to go to bed and we don't want to affect people's lives in a negative way. So thank you for staying as long as you have. Those of you that need to go to bed, we do appreciate you.
That's cool. LOL. I didn't mean to sound defensive either. It's just, I've gotten a Hydra from what I think was beef heart that I bought from the store. So, you never know what you're adding to your tanks. It's a bummer.
Absolutely. Okay, yeah. Well, you just addressed that from all what. Danikin Aquatics, hello again to you. It's been a pleasure talking to you today through the various streams. My only question is, James, do you ever sleep, bro? Yes, I do. Not as much as I should, but I think that is something that has helped me with the progression of the channel. Because honestly, when we end this at 2:30, I'll probably be up for about 2 hours networking, replying to emails and comments and things of that nature, and trying to plan out collabs and things like that. So I don't sleep a whole lot, but I think that's one of the things that has helped me be successful, not just here, but just successful in general at a lot of other things. Recon says fish people don't sleep. Yeah, and there will be people that would want us to stream until 6 o'clock. Not that we wouldn't enjoy doing it, but you have people like the Zen Ginger, bless her heart, I think hit like 24 or 36 hours with no sleep earlier today. So she's probably ready for another little nap. I'm telling her secrets now. FNS Fish Room is out, it looks like. Thank you. I appreciate you hanging out with us. Let me see.
Fish Tropic says that he needs water spiders. Now, is that like bugs that live in the water? Or am I missing something?
Yeah, is it an actual water spider, or are you talking about the water striders that go across the top of the water?
Ormin? Those little ormin will bite. They're actually a type of roach. I don't, they call them ormin because it looks like they got two big. But then, the ones that you were just saying that look kind of like a spider with 4 legs on each side.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Codyson says, in the worms that fleece carry feed on mammals probably can't go through the whole life cycle in a fish. And then Bob at Cathar's Aquatics says, fleece carry tapeworm eggs, no other type. Most dewormers do not kill tapes. Yes. Sharpies, models, and aquatics. There it is. We had an outcry over here after a couple of piranha were found in lakes. It got as far as Parliament before someone pointed out they couldn't survive our winters. Absolutely, and that's what I find funny. In Tennessee, they're legal. In every state that touches Tennessee, they're illegal, including the ones to the north of us, where it gets colder, where they could not survive. But it is what it is. What do I know? I just keep fish.
It's lucky that Parliament was smart enough not to take the question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at the state of Washington completely banned them, and there's no way that they're living there.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I don't want to get into politics, but if you look at the places that have some of the issues, you can kind of guess where their politics lean based upon some of the laws they put through. And that's the sad part. I don't agree with the philosophy that has been brought up in other streams about, well, if I can't have them here, they need to be banned in the whole country. I don't agree with that. But I think that, more thought needs to go into these laws before they're enacted.
Bob was getting some shrimp for his puffer fish, and we were at a pet store, and we were going to get a bunch of them, and I don't know if they were ghost shrimp or a mono shrimp or what they were, but or grass shrimp. I think they were just clear grass shrimp. But the guy said, look, you don't want those to feed to your puffer because they're filled with worms. And he caught one out with his hand, which I thought was amazing, and then broke it open, and it's like a shrimp that's maybe an inch long. They pulled that worm out, and it was about 4 inches long. It was just disgusting.
Yeah,
it was really neat that he did that for us, and it was really nice that he let Bob know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I've seen not aquatic, but like some YouTube videos of like one that sticks out the most was where a praying mantis died, and this massive tapeworm comes crawling out of the praying mantis's back end when the praying mantis obviously wasn't that big. It was just crazy.
Well, I actually bought some female guppies from a local pet store, and the female, one of them died, and the worm was coming out of its gill, out of the female guppy that had died.
Oh wow!
Yeah, luckily, I keep them all in separate tanks, so she didn't infest anything. But I don't know if Bob's bought anything from that pet store yet, but every single fish I bought from that pet store died. So, are all the guppies. I think they got them straight from Asia, and they lived in a lot of salt water and really warm temperatures. I keep my guppies at about 75 to 77, and I don't put any salt at all in my tanks. I like plants. So, if they're brought up over in Asia, they don't last very long. So I try to buy from local fish breeders now. Healthier, everything's better.
Oh yeah. So Scotty G says, I let the videos run at night most of the time. I fall asleep watching a stream or video and wake up and they're still going. So people getting more watch hours from me. Well, Scotty G, we always appreciate that. GRB mentioning Aquamate's 24-hour live stream the 29th and 30th. I've not figured out when I'm going to be able to get on there. I'm going to get on there at one point, even if it's like the nighttime part, because I said I would do it. So I will be there. But I'm definitely going to do that. Let's see. All right. Select Pet says, I almost bought myself cave tetras before I found out they were illegal. That's the bad part, is when you have the ability to get a hold of something that you could end up being fined or imprisoned or whatever for. Law What says, alligators have made it up the river to here in Oklahoma. Priscilla MK Art. Yeah, I don't understand why piranhas are illegal in Colorado. Absolutely. Makes no sense. And then Bob, I'm going to agree with you 100%. Kaylor's Aquatic says, I miss living in Jacksonville, Florida, which is actually my hometown for those of you that did not know, and the fresh shrimp, etc. However, I never eat it here in Tennessee. Yes, so touching back on that a little bit, the boat I mentioned that was my home for the first year of my life was a shrimp boat. That was what my parents did. They were commercial shrimpers. So yeah, there's nothing like that fresh seafood, the fresh shrimp from the dock. And I'm the same way. I can't really do seafood up here. There's one place in Knoxville that actually travels, I guess, to the Carolina coast, buys seafood, and then drives it straight back. And that's about as fresh as you can get it around here. But I definitely am in agreement with you there, Bob Kaylor.
How do you find out if your fish are illegal in your state? The only true way is to look it up. Yeah. I mean, hopefully your local store will let you know, but if it's not, I don't think they don't like raid people's houses looking for fish. Where you'll have the problem is if you're trying to breed those fish and sell them. So if you're going to sell something, make sure it's legal. But if you're just going to keep it in your house and you bought it from your local store, you're not going to get attacked.
Yes, or if you're a YouTuber and you screw up, hey, check out my fish. Oh, hey, I got big. Oh, I'm in trouble. That would be one of the few other possibilities. If you're on YouTube showing off a fish and, you somehow manage to get graced by people in the right authority or, branch of authority, that would be a potential issue. Chewy says there was an Oscar put in Burnaby Lake. Did the fishing game people react the same way when they got the snakehead? They admitted it would not survive in Canada. Yeah, it's I don't even begin to understand why people do what they do in terms of laws.
Good day, Blocky.
Oh, that jumped on me.
Yes, Bob, I would love to commit, and tomorrow I'll find out for sure if I'm playing games all day with the kids on Saturday or not. But man, I'd definitely love to go with you because that's a lot more fun. Nothing against the kids, but fish stories with Bob those are always.
All I can say to that, Ed, is hashtag shame on you three. That sounds like a fun time. I hope you all have fun. Okay. So, there's the how do you find out a fish are illegal to own. Fish Tropic says Piranha 3D is why. Haha. Yeah. Another resource you have, like he said, looking it up. Like I searched the TWRA, the Tennessee Wildlife Reservation Association. I probably just screwed that up at 2:00 in the morning. In terms of looking for what fish were illegal in that aspect, and what things. But I mean, that gets into so many different things. If it's something that's endangered, it doesn't necessarily show up on that. Like we have a freshwater goby here in Tennessee that it's not on that list from the TWRA, but it is an endangered species. So obviously, I can't just go net it out of the river and bring it home and throw it in a fish tank. And Chewy has sent me a link to share with you, Chattanooga Ed. I will do my best to remember that. I've seen about 20 notifications come through, so I will go through those as soon as the stream ends and get that shared.
Awesome.
Recon 338 says I'd probably contact the Game Commission. Yes, absolutely. Not a bad idea. Just bear in mind they may not be aware of all species or things that aren't on their specific list that's handed down to them.
And, it's really good to know the different laws, too. Like, when I first moved to Tennessee, I've never had turtles in my life, but I was told you can't have a turtle here. And I got so bitter. I looked up the facts. The reason why they made turtles illegal in Tennessee was because 4 people a year lick them and get salmonella. And I'm like, seriously? A couple of people get salmonella from turtles, and they ban it for us all to have. But actually, now they canceled that law a couple of years ago, and I didn't even realize it. The whole time I've been here, I've been just pouting. And then I went to a pet store with Bob, and they had dozens of turtles all over, and I found out that turtles are legal in the state.
Yeah, and then you get into various species where this species is not legal, but the other one is. And Dr. Black 66, good day, Blackie. Appreciate you joining us. Yeah, it looks like you all are going to have some West Tennessee fun. I am jealous. Hashtag salty. Yeah, I would say Law What is correct. Don't trust the fish store. Check local wildlife regulations. Also check those of bordering states. And Sharpie's Models and Aquatics. Used to visit Dungeness a fair bit. As a kid, Daniken had family in the area. They're trying to get you to go to the pet store still. I wish I could not have to work that day. I would sneak into Bob's trunk or the back of his truck and tie myself to the trailer hitch, and you could just drag me along.
Any turtle under 4 inches is illegal nationwide to sell due to trade or due to ignorance. Bizarre. There's so many weird laws. That was from Select Pet. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You are absolutely fine.
You put a little highlight, so I went straight to it.
Right, absolutely.
It's a lot easier to read the ones that have a highlighted thing on there.
Ginger and Bob are working on a plan. The Zen Ginger says, my wet pet adventure started by quote-unquote saving a crawfish that crawled out of a cooler at a crawfish boil, and my mom let me take it home and raise it. I have no idea if it was legal. LOL.
Thanks, Bob. You just said that fleas can't reproduce or pass tapeworms onto fish.
There you go. Leave it to Bob Kaler to know the answer to these things. I tell you what, the first time I met Bob, I think him and I talked for like 20 minutes, standing in the middle of the fish store in people's way, just kind of chit chatting. That was
It was a lot longer than that because I was standing there too, and I have like a severely bad back, and I was like dying. I should have brought a cane. But we just hogged the middle of the fish room, and people were walking all around me, or all around the three of us.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah, that was great meeting you two for the first time.
That was a lot of fun.
I look forward to being able to do that again. I'm pretty sure, no more lies, it is still illegal to drive barefoot in Tennessee. Bob says it is illegal to be bottomless. Yes, to drive bottomless in Tennessee.
Bob knows because he's into that.
Yes, Bob has got arrested for driving with no pants one too many times, so he is the expert on that law.
One thing I noticed in Tennessee from Missouri is like when I was a kid, I used to ride in the back of a pickup truck, but they kind of like don't do that anymore.
Right.
As soon as I came to Tennessee, you see pickups with like half a dozen guys just sitting on the side of the back of the pickup. And it's just so much more relaxed down here.
Dylan, good night. I appreciate you hanging out with us. I hope you have a wonderful night and get you some rest. And then Chewy's got a question for you, Ed.
What two bands have held the #1 spot on the billboards in USA at the same time? Oh, at the same release time. What two bands? Now you see, I'm a trivia guy, but I'm normally a one-hit wonder guy. Can you give me a decade, Chewy?
Hey, Blake's Aquatics. Welcome. Glad to have you here. G'day, g'day. Let's see. You can ride. No more lies. Said you can ride in the back of a pickup truck if there are bucket seats with seat belts.
Yeah.
So
there might be buckets. I don't think they're seats. They're probably kegs.
There's your hint, Chewy, or not Chewy. Your hint, Chattanooga Ed.
Oh. Nickelback is one of them. The other is a Canadian band from the 60s. Oh, boy. They held it at the same time as Nickelback? That couldn't... I don't know if the Kingsmen were from England or Canada. I'll go with the Kingsmen. We'll see.
Yeah, and while you're thinking on that, Fish Tropic, I've never had that either. Same response as Bob Kaler. They always know I'm packing. That's the state ID I show them.
Who?
Absolutely. Guess who, Ed? That's great.
That's a better hint.
Recon 338 says, been riding in the back of a pickup truck my whole life since I was a little kid. No seat or seat belts. Just hope you don't crash. Yeah, so when I was younger, would have had to have been 10 and younger. My father had a pickup truck and actually bolted a bench seat from another truck into the bed of the truck so that we could ride on that bench seat buckled into the back of the pickup truck. See, Chewy gets into the music scene and gets way over my head because I am horrible with that stuff. When I was first talking to Miss Fever years and years ago, she'd be like, what do you think about this band? And I'd be like, I've never heard of them. And she'd be like, what? And then she'd send me a song, and I'd be like, oh, I know that song. I'm that horrible with band names and song names and stuff. But one thing I would like to do while we still have about 15 minutes, as always, I would like to encourage everybody to check one another out in the chat. if you see somebody you don't know, check out their channel. It doesn't hurt to show support for one another, and it doesn't cost you anything. I think I even still have. Ta-da! We'll swap to the other banner there. I definitely encourage we all help each other grow, and there's no better way to spread education and fun than to extend our community. Now I can't get back to the chat. There we go. Back to the chat. No sugar tonight. I'm not sure. No sugar tonight. If you're wanting kisses, lol, that's not happening. I'm sorry. Miss Fever may be in bed, but she'll get mad.
I've been drinking nothing but sugar and eating sugar nonstop for like the last 3 days.
Yeah, I'm now drinking a Gas Monkey energy drink that Miss Fever brought in as she was going to bed and said, "Here, do you want this?" I'm like, "Sure." And then I drank it instead of my drink, and definitely tastes different.
I'm doing cherry Dr. Pepper.
So Griffin Fish Room, I was just saying to think about that trade and send him a Facebook message. Griffin's not that far away from us.
Oh, yeah. Is he in Kentucky?
I think so. Kentucky or South Carolina. That's one of the two. And, of course, Select Pet is not far either. Says, yep, I'm the same way. FRF, I can't remember my employee names, but I can rattle off stuff like Skiffia. I can't even hardly read it. There we go. Skiffia multipunctata. Yeah, so I am the guy when you walk in the store and say, "Hey, do you carry bungee cords?" I'm going to tell you they're the second row from the right, back half of the store, 20 foot down, third peg from the bottom above the shelving. I could tell you pretty much to the peg or shelf location where every single product in the store is. But stuff like, other random things I forget. And that's my problem, is I used to know so much more in terms of like scientific names and biology and stuff. And now it's all been replaced by retail nonsense. I could sit here and rattle off SOP or standard operating procedure numbers to you for an hour and a half and tell you what they are. So I've got to, I think, purge some of that from my brain to get some other information back in there.
Griffin, are you from Paducah? Well, I thought he was from Kentucky, but I'll definitely make the trade. I want to get my fish room set up first just so I can get a good breeding system for all my guppies. I've been just trying to colony breed them right now, but I'm going to break it down so the males will be separated from the females, and I'll do more selective breeding soon. I drove through Kentucky yesterday. I stopped overnight in Paducah just because it was getting too late, and spent the night there and then drove the rest down.
Yeah, see, that's what we need. We need a Music City Fish Expo. I'm willing to drive out to Nashville for it.
That'd be fun.
I'm going to let Ginger Graves go ahead and take point on that one since she's out there.
Ginger's so cool. I'm sure they'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. People.
Is America really camera phobic?
I think we have cameras everywhere.
Yeah, well, that's the funny thing is that we have cameras everywhere set up by cities and businesses and all those things. But people get really weird if an individual is holding a camera and recording. I don't know if you've ever noticed that before. And they tend to think they have all these rights that they don't have. Like, you can't film me. Well, in the state of Tennessee, yes, I can. If you're in public, I can film you whether you like it or not. There's no expectation of privacy in public if you read the law.
They have one fish convention in Nashville. I went to it last year. It's the Deep South Guppy Convention. Just to throw that out there. It's actually in a suburb, a little south of Nashville.
So Zen said she is camera phobic, and then Recon said, I don't mind videoing myself like for YouTube, but if I see a stranger with a camera, I'm out. I don't know what they're doing. Hey, JH Aquatics, welcome. Appreciate you swinging by.
If I see a stranger with a camera, I normally start dancing or something.
Yeah. Because again, like I said, people are of the mindset that they have the right to tell you, I don't want to be filmed and you have to stop. But that's not the law. The law is there is no expectation of privacy in public. At least here, again, disclaimer, check your local laws and all that wonderful stuff. But that is what it is. And even Chewy says Nashville would be a good place for a fish convention. Yeah, I think it would be an awesome East Coast, not up north place for a fish convention, kind of in the middle, you know. There's that one. Then I did say hello to J.H. Joseph. I appreciate you coming in. Lots of people saying hey.
Nashville's an amazing town to check out at night too, man. I had so much fun there. I had a UAW convention there about 10 years ago. It was just a complete blast. We had a lot of fun. There's like music on every corner, like starving artists, you know, they're just all just playing their stuff everywhere, and all the bars. There's a lot of bars that open up and play. It's a really good time. Now Chattanooga is also, it's a vacation town too.
Yeah,
it's just not quite as big, and I don't think we have as many homeless people that play instruments. I shouldn't say they're homeless, but I appreciate it.
So to answer that, GRB, can public officials make you not film? Where we are at, given that the police are paid off of the taxpayer dime, we are entitled to film them doing their duties. So since they are civil servants, they can't tell us to stop recording them. There are some exceptions, like federal buildings that you're not allowed to film inside of, and even if you try and film them from a sidewalk, oftentimes security or even the police will try and get you to stop. But as long as you're standing on a public sidewalk or public access, they legally cannot force you to stop. To answer that really quickly, and that's a very complicated topic depending upon where you are, what you're filming, and how you're filming it.
Now, if you buy tickets to something, they always have disclaimers that you can't take any photography or video without their permission. So, like, you can't go into a movie theater and tape the movie legally, or a sporting event. Right.
Well, and like those places are not the same public access places as, say, Walmart or a dollar store, where they may have a corporate policy that tells you not to film in there, but it's not against the law because they are privately owned businesses that grant public access. You don't have to pay to get in. There's public access granted. I can walk into them just the same as I could walk in, you know, any other public area, public park, places like that. So
I know, like 30 years ago, I'm giving away my age, I worked for Walmart and we set stores. I was like a traveling store setter, and they didn't want other stores taking photos, and they said because they didn't want them to have the same layout as Walmart.
Yeah,
now Walmart's so big that nothing matters, but that was when they were competing against Kmart, Venture, Sears.
Yeah, I've heard some crazy stuff like that, having worked in retail and still working in retail. It can be interesting. Let's see. So lots of hellos and other fun things. No More Lies says they cannot stop you from filming. They cannot block your filming. Supreme Court ruled on that. Yeah. So like they could, like I could stand, if you're trying to film something, I could stand in front of you without touching you and like try and do this number to your camera. Because I'm not touching you. But just the same, you can move your camera around me without physically touching me or contacting me. And I've seen some really stupid people trying to do that, like officials, like, oh, you're not going to doing this number, you know. But yeah, you were absolutely.
I would always ask permission, though, to film a fish store just so.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's a little different. That's one thing that I would walk in and say, hey, you know, I'd like to film. Is that okay with you? Absolutely. Something like that. 100% agree with.
They might be more paranoid than other people because their industry doesn't have a set price on their fish, so they might be paranoid that another pet store will get the goods on the fish, or the prices and whatnot. Just saying.
Yeah. So in terms of that select pet, and this is, I'm not saying this is all states, but in every state I've studied the law on, even if it is private property, if it is granting public access, the laws still apply in terms of that. Again, they can have policies, but in terms of the law, that's completely different. Now, if you're asked to stop because of a policy and you refuse to stop and they tell you to leave, then you're violating that policy and you're trespassing once you've been told to leave. Then it becomes a legal issue. But as long as they are giving access to the public and you're in a location that allows you to film in public without that second party agreement, then you are okay. Basically, if you can walk in without, paying an entry or anything like that, and it's not posted, you're pretty much good to keep that short. But like I said, if it's somebody that you're wanting to like do a fish shop, I always ask, just because it's a nice thing to do. JH, yes, that would be awesome. I would love to have you on, buddy. I know that we could get into some awesome conversations because you were so much into the scientific part of things that I miss doing and miss being in, and I'm just not up to speed on anymore. That would be awesome.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah, no more lies. I'm not even going to get into the Walmart thing. Very quickly, in Tennessee, felony theft starts at $500. Somehow, Walmart has been able to manipulate the law to where they can charge you with a felony theft for a $5 theft. That's how twisted Walmart makes things.
But is that a bad thing? I don't know. I've never.
I don't think it's a bad thing in terms of like the retail perspective. I think it's a bad thing in terms of a company being able to dictate laws based upon how much money they have. You get what I'm saying?
I totally understand that. I'm not for stealing.
Yeah. Well, I'm not either. Again, that's a huge part of my job is loss prevention. Shrink is a huge factor in what I do being a retail manager. But I don't think any company should be able to have a law changed specifically for them. If you walk into my store and you commit a misdemeanor by the state law, it should be a misdemeanor in Walmart. It shouldn't be up to a felony there. And the big reason I don't like that law is because in Tennessee, you can blah, 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 not commit, but you can engage in a citizen's arrest in the state of Tennessee if you see a felony in progress. What that does is that gives Walmart the loophole because it is then a felony to steal a $5 pair of socks or whatever. That then gives those security people the right to make a citizen's arrest over a $5 pair of socks because they're now committing what is a felony to do at Walmart. That's the big problem I see with it. Is again, it's bypassing the law. But sorry, that's one of those things I could definitely go off on a tangent on. Yes, JH, do it definitely. Recon 338 says a polite person would generally ask if you are okay with being on camera. In that situation, I'd probably be okay with it, but just a random stranger who didn't ask seems shady. So I will say, in my experience from doing a good bit of filming at the pet store, sometimes people look at you funny. Generally, they just don't walk in front of the camera. And that's my big thing is if you don't want to be filmed, don't walk in front of the camera. So let's see. Trying to get through these because we're like right on our 2-hour mark, and I promised to keep it at 2 hours.
Hey, Bob. Bob was telling somebody that he knows quite a bit about fleas since he's been a pet shelter director for many years, and I know that personally, and I've been at his place, and it's awesome. But Bob, I wanted to ask you and think about this, and you can tell me later. What's the best way to give a cat a bath? Because I literally was bleeding last time. Okay, That was something I keep forgetting to ask Bob personally.
Oh yeah, no, you're good. I was just trying to pop up a couple of questions real quick before we kill it. So my apologies. I got off on a little bit of different tangent. Real quick to answer that, Diego. No, I don't work at a pet store. I work at a small box. I guess it's a corporate, whatever 300 company, whatever that is. It's late. Forgive me. But I work at a nationwide chain with 16,000 plus stores in small box, just as a retail store manager. Not a pet store, but who knows? That may change at some point.
Then Ginger says bathing clothes.
Bathing clothes, yes.
For the cats, I ended up going to a sweatshirt and my church jacket, or like a nice jacket for you to wear to a funeral or something, because they couldn't get through.
All right, so we opened up a whole can of worms there. James does work at a pet store. It's called fishroomfever.com. All right, so we have hit our 2-hour mark. Ed, would you like to say your farewells and thank yous?
Yeah, everybody, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was all a lot of fun. Hope we didn't offend anybody. I don't think we did. We kind of talk about everything here. And I'm looking forward to next week. And thank you guys. And I got a lot of YouTube to catch up so I can find out everything I missed from all you folks. Okay, James, you take it.
All right. Well, I appreciate you all showing up and showing support for us and supporting each other. Normally, I wouldn't do this, but what I'm going to do, unless somebody else wants to pop up live, is I'm going to open another live stream separate from the Nocturnal feeding, because I see a lot of people with a lot of things going on, and we'll do an open mic open up for some people that would like to get on and talk. That will also give people that are dying to go to bed a chance to quietly slip out and not feel guilty. So again, I appreciate everyone showing up and showing support for us and one another. And until next time, keep your fish healthy and catch yourself a little fish room fever. And Chattanooga Ed.